All right, how's it going, guys? So it is time for the van tour. A little breakdown. We're gonna get into what I've installed on my vehicle, what I would change, what I use the most, what was really unnecessary. So just a full in-depth breakdown of the van. So as you can see, we have a spare tire mounted to the roof. It's a big tire, I have big wheels. Didn't want to put it on the back because we already have this awesome artwork here. So I initially had a trailer hitch, but it came out so far and I didn't like it. So we got a roof mount one. You don't really need to worry about that, it's all situation based, but I think it's good to have just in case anything goes wrong. Nothing's gone wrong so far. But you never know, you don't want to get screwed in the middle of nowhere. And I have the ability to move the tire over and put a kayak up there one day when I have money for a kayak. So I have a solar panel set up, which is very convenient. I didn't need it though. It was unnecessary. I use it all the time, don't get me wrong. I didn't need it, basically. If you're looking to save money, that is. So as you can see, the bed is a full-size double mattress, memory foam. Got that from Walmart. It is folded up right now into a couch because it's more convenient to be able to sit, and because I'm by myself, then I don't need to take it out all the time. And I can leave it up, latched up like it is, or I can bring it all the way down and have like all the space I desire in the world. So I do got multiple compartments underneath for storage and things like this. First one here, I got food, random snacks that don't need to be cooled or really anything, so I just put in cereal, spices. That one there, the middle one, is clothes. I just fill the bucket up with clothes, even though they do end up like all over the place when they're between clean and dirty. And then the end one there is just excess things, so like dishes and stuff like that. I also have room behind these, and then just items that I rarely use but wanted to have, like an inflatable bed if I went hiking or something like that. So it's all random stuff, storage underneath the bed. So for the sink and stuff like that, or the whole cabinetry, I built it all myself, and it's on a 5-gallon water jug underneath with a manual pump. I would change that, and we'll get into that. With the manual pump, because then I don't need to worry about ever running out of power and not being able to get my water out. Then I have propane and soaps and stuff holder underneath. I have a little compartment for my toothbrushes and toothpaste, floss, and then cutlery, things like that. And then just aside for extra compartments and garbage, place for all my garbage. And just in case you haven't been following along, this is a foam square. I got these for like $2 and you get a whole pack of them. Underneath there's 3/4 inch plywood. I put that to the base, bolted it down. And then this is just for making it cozy and to make it look nice. And then we got the roof. Everything is insulated up here. We got the Reflectix, and then we got fiberglass insulation behind it, and that goes behind everything here too. I took these off. All along here, it's all insulated. I don't know if it actually helped or not. It's hard to tell. There's a lot of windows, so maybe if I boarded up the windows too, it would work. And then I do have this LED strip. It's just a 16-foot strip put around a wooden frame that I made myself. It doesn't use too much power being LEDs. It's definitely pretty cool to have. It does light it up a lot more in here than with it off. And they all connect to this great system of extension cables. So now we can get to the solar power, the whole setup there. So I went with very, very thin ones, as you can see, incredibly thin, more expensive that way, but I wanted to be able to have it so you can't even tell that they're on there. And so those run down from the roof there all along down here into this whole box system that I set up. So I rarely go into it, so I put these huge speakers here because they were free, I had them, and so they're all velcroed down, they don't move. So we'll dig that out. Alright, so they're all encased there. Airproof box, 2 batteries. They're 6 volts with 235 amp hours each, making it a 12 volt system because they're together. It's all vented out there with that tube because they produce hydrogen gas. You don't want that leaking into your van because it's explosive and it's very poisonous to you. And then I got my inverter there to change the DC power from the batteries to AC. And then we got the charge controller right there, which is right here. And so that's that. I got a bunch of just different compartments for storage and stuff like that, my electronics. And then I put fabric on the top here so that it would look cool. And then we have the cooler. It's a powered cooler, so when I'm driving I can plug it in to the cigarette lighter there, and then it charges it, as well as it can plug into my solar panel setup when I have enough sun. So it holds 55 cans, I believe, which has done me justice. Would I go bigger? If I had the space, I would have. There's a couple more things I would like to put in there because ice does take up a lot of space. The electronic one only cools at 20 degrees below ambient, so if you get into the hotter temperatures, it's only a little bit of a help. I also put a stove here. I had nowhere else to put it, and I wanted it somewhere very convenient that I could grab it, and so I just untwist this cable and it pops right out, and then I can put it wherever I want to. So, things that I used the most out of everything that I installed, because I made everything complete before I took off, and so what I use a lot is, I do use the solar power a lot, but the thing is it wasn't necessary, and for what I paid around $1,500 for the whole setup, and in reality I didn't need to do that. I do use it, like I said, a lot, every day, all day, but it wasn't necessary. And what I mean by that is that I use Wi-Fi a lot because I'm making videos, I'm editing photos, things like that. If you don't need any Wi-Fi, you could use this and never have to worry about going into town or not. But I need Wi-Fi a lot, so I'm constantly in places, and most places have plugins to charge your gear. So if you have all your stuff just to plug in while you're having a coffee, editing some video, photos, things like that, then I really didn't need it, and it would have helped me to get out more, because a lot of the time I can just hide away in the van, work on a video, and a lot of the times when I meet really interesting, cool people, I'll just be out doing my own thing, either working on a video or something like that, and you just start talking to someone, or someone starts talking to you, and you meet someone cool. The second thing I use a lot is the sink. I'm constantly either washing dishes, washing my hands. When I brush my teeth, I can use that. Was it necessary? You could do without it if you really needed to. Like I said, I'm in town a lot, so I'm constantly in Walmarts and different stores like that, so I can go in, use their washroom, use their facilities, wash my hands if I needed to. So it's not necessary. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand what you need and then what's convenient. It is convenient to have, don't get me wrong, but don't try and hold yourself to not having it. Most of the things that I built aren't necessary, but like I said, I do use it a lot. So if you have the time and you're wanting to build it, because I built everything in here, then go right ahead. I do use the cooler a lot. I'm always constantly filling it up. It either has like drinks like pop, milk. I have different meats and foods and stuff like that. So I'm using the cooler a lot. I want to jump into the fact that I have an electric cooler and why it doesn't work for me. I rarely use the plug-in feature, mainly if I'm driving somewhere, but usually most of the time I'm sitting in an area and just taking it in, going exploring, so I don't really use it, and it draws a lot of power, so I rather use my power on other things than to keep my food a little bit cooler. So I would instead just get a heavy-duty regular cooler and just chock it with ice. It'll last longer than what I have right now. Some things that I would change after this, I would probably get an electric water pump. The ones I've seen people use are usually like shower heads, like for camping. They have like a little battery pack that you can recharge every now and then. And because a lot of the time when I'm trying to wash my hands or do the dishes or something like that, my hands are gonna be dirty or wet, and then like get touched having to do the nozzle thing a couple times each time before water will come out. It's a little much of a hassle, but I think it's cheaper. Another thing that I would change going again is I would get rid of this stove. It works amazing. I've been traveling for almost 60 days now, and I've only used one 1-liter propane cylinder for this thing, and it has yet to run out. It's going strong. I don't know if that's the stove using it exceptionally well or if it's just how it works. Now, I use the stove a lot. Like, I'm always heating up meals, cooking meals, stuff like that. I don't have a lot of just dry food that I can just eat now and then. It's either in the cooler or I cook it. I have like snacks and stuff that are mainly in there. So what I would do is the inconvenience of having to set this up every single time, like multiple times a day, but it does take some time to set up, like a minute to set up every time, take down, and it is big. That's the main problem I have with it, is that it's big, so I have to put it here. And if I could do it again, I would build a single stove, because that's usually all I really use at a time, into my cabinetry. So all I have to do is turn the knobs, press it to spark it up, and it's good to go. If it was that easy, I would be more willing to cook because it's more convenient. But this does work, and it has worked for the last 60 days. So some nights it does get pretty cold, so I do have this heater here. It's a Mr. Buddy heater, and it works exceptionally well. Problem is you can't really use it, well, you shouldn't use it while you're sleeping, because it's just a safety hazard. If you want to risk that thing, it's your life, not mine. Because it does get pretty cozy in here when that thing is on. You have to have some windows open, of course, to filter out the air, because it is propane. Now, I also use a sleeping bag on top of my mattress, just when it gets colder. Depends on where you live, how the temperature is, or where you're planning on going. It's always good to have something like that, just in case it does get cold. So having both options, one is the first one, which I usually use every night, either open or closed, just to kind of keep the warmth in if I need. And then this is just if it gets too cold, or if I'm trying to wake up and the entire van's cold while I'm all warm in my little cocoon. So this is definitely an adventure and quite a way to live. You don't have to just jump right into it. You can go on like a month trip, a 2-month trip. Anything is really amazing. And if you guys think, hey, I can't afford this kind of lifestyle, I spend around $600 a month. So let that sink in. That's not a lot of money. Most people pay more in rent than that. Now that price does vary depending on where you are. The main expense in this is gas. I pay $175 a month in insurance. I try to spend around $200 a month in gas. If I can spend less, that's a win. If I spend more, it kind of evens out with the time I spend less. But right now, I'm spending a lot of gas because I'm going down all the way to the coast of California, to San Diego, and then to the Grand Canyon, then back home, on limited funds. So I'm spending a lot more because I'm in more of a hurry for that. But if you take your time and you have enough saved up, then you can spend whatever you want on gas and just stay in each area for a designated amount of time, and it also depends on how much gas is where you are and the kind of vehicle that you're running. All right, and so if you guys have any more questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll either answer them in a separate video or just right there. But I'm in the redwood forest, so I'm going to go enjoy that now. See ya!